Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. My latest poll asked the question whether or not you guys wanted to see a filter made from a terracotta flower pot. 133 people weighed in on this. 94% were in favor of it, so I am going to turn this flower pot into a filter and let me know what you think. I actually was a little bit surprised at how this turned out, but leave your comments below and give me your opinion. So this is a new flower pot, even though I've had it for a few years. I had originally intended on making a saw to cut terracotta, the clay, so I can make caves and stuff out of this. Never got around to it, so I'm going to make use of it now. I had originally intended on using this. This is a grate I had made for a filter recently, and I had drilled holes in it when I didn't need to, so I thought I'd use it here, but I forgot that it is a larger diameter, so it won't fit snugly into here. It's not a friction fit. It was meant to have the pipe slide over like this, so it's not really good for this build, but I'll get around to using that eventually. So this is going to be turned down now, and while that's happening, I want to go over a couple of things. Before putting this video together, I went to the channel and had a look over the last few years of all the different filters I put together, and boy, I've made a lot of filters. I made lots of different styles, lots of different combinations of styles, and then I took those filters and I put them through their paces, different tests and experiments on them, and see what kind of strengths and weaknesses they have. And one of the conclusions I've come to after building a very large number of filters over the years is they all work. They do function. They have obviously their weaknesses, and the biggest one for me is whether or not they're easy to maintain. That's one of the things that is a big stumbling block. I clean a lot of aquariums, and an easy to maintain filter is something that I really do value. Now, a little bit of versatility is also something I really care for, and that's the reason why I like the filter at the beginning of this, the two-stage box filter, because you can do lots of different things with it. The filter I'm putting together here is actually very reminiscent of a filter I put together 14 months ago now. It was the ultra deep bed under gravel filter. I put it on an aquarium and it has been running ever since. I have not touched that filter at all. It is still running really well. It keeps that tank nice and clear, and I suspect this will also perform really well. Maybe not to that level because that one was considerably larger, and it also had 2 lift stacks. But I do expect that this filter is going to do quite well. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about designing filters. They're all going to function. It's just how nice they're going to look and how easy they are going to be to maintain. I really like this part here. This fits so nicely down in that after turning this around. I mean, I don't have to build any kind of platform underneath this, but I do need to drill some holes. So I built this little jig. It has a corner in it, so this will register nicely, and I can turn it quite easily. And that'll allow me to make sure I drill all the holes that are going around this at a specific level, so they don't end up looking all wonky. Don't normally bother doing this, but I want to make them a little bit nicer, and considering how this build was going to take too long, I thought I would go to a little bit extra care for this one. So what it is, I put a crosshatch on this because this will allow me to make sure I turn them well, at the specific amount, so I don't end up, again, with them a little bit off. Really not necessary. I just wanted to make it look a little bit nicer. And I also think that this jig is going to come in quite handy for some future builds. Builds where I'm not burying it under gravel afterwards, where actually it does matter what it looks like. I mean, it is a poor man's rotary table, but it does allow for some pretty good placement of holes, and it does, again, help with the aesthetics. So this is actually going to be quite straightforward from this point on. I just have to drill these holes, and then that's pretty much it. One of the modification I was talking about is I think I need a few more hash marks on this to allow for different rotations. This is really great as so far for the 90s, but then I need to do the 45, so it would be nice to put those in. You can see where they line up right there, just to make it a little bit more accurate. Again, not at all important for here, but it may come up later on where it does matter a little bit when I want to line holes up a bit better. And the other thing is, especially when I do the next row of holes, it might do well to have not just the the 45s and 8s or whatever else, but have some more vertical and horizontal lines as well. Just a grid pattern to, again, make this a lot more simple to line up. So this is the first row of holes, and I'm going to move on to the inner ones, and then we'll put this all together, throw some gravel in it, and it'll show you what it looks like. Now, hopefully, as this goes on, one of the things, like I said, one of the things I want you to get out of filter building, the container doesn't really necessarily matter a whole lot. I like acrylic because I like to see what's going on in the filter, and when I do tests and that sort of thing, like I said earlier in the video, it's nice to be able to see inside and see what's happening. If you're getting lots of mold buildup, whether or not it needs cleaning, all those sorts of things. But for this particular style of filter, a deep bed UGG like this, there really isn't that much that needs to be done to it. So this filter here is going to continue to function really well without any sort of modifications that are going to need to be done to it, or cleaning for that matter. But the only reason why I know that is I have run one for a long period of time and haven't had any issues with it. So again, like I said, different materials, different structures for setting up. It all comes down to ease of access for maintenance, versatility, and those sorts of things. But this is going to be a very functional little filter. I am going to run it for, well, I'm going to run it. I'm going to put it in one of the aquariums. It is going to go in the pond temporarily. I'm not sure it's going to stay there. I really can't tell you that right now, as I'm not entirely sure. But if I'm going to test it out, which I'm not sure I'm going to, because I know it's going to work at least reasonably well, at least somewhere in the ballpark of the deep bed UGG. So we'll see when that comes up. One other quick thing while I'm thinking about this sort of stuff is, if you have an interesting build, something you want to see, or just a simple experiment, leave a comment and I will put up a poll and see if people are interested in it. Obviously I can't get to them all, but I try and cover as many different things as possible. So like I said, leave comments, and hopefully I'll get around to a bunch of stuff eventually. So there you go. That's all the holes it needs, and pretty much that's all the work this thing needs. It fits so nicely in there. I was actually really happy about that. Nothing else is going to need to be done to this, except I am going to swap out the new pieces of acrylic for one of the old standpipes I had from a past build, and that's it. It's going to stick it in a pond. So this is the deep bed UGG, and it is obviously a lot bigger than the other one, but I have had zero issues with this aquarium the entire time it's been up. So that is has a lot to say for itself. No maintenance at all. So, and you can see the water's crystal clear. It has a fair number of fish in it. Nothing really big and messy, but then again, not every filter is good for everything. So here you go. It's in the pond. Won't stay here most likely, but it's hard to say. And it runs just perfectly fine. So thank you very much for watching. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think of this thing. It is not horrible to look at. Again, the only real downside to it is you can't see what's happening inside, but I don't really expect that to become an issue. And anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.